What's up? This is your boy Doc with IDezignz Network, and today I'm going to be making a tutorial on how to make a Web 2.0 logo in Photoshop. And this tutorial is actually sponsored by AdminSpot.net webmaster forum. This forum is fairly new, but it's pretty nice. I know a lot of people here and they give me a lot of help. Anywho, start off, you would like to download the font, which you can find at thefont.com. I will provide the link. This font is called Arista, and it has 3 different types: regular, light, and then bold, which is called extra fill, but it's really just bold. But anywho, I'm going to start off in Photoshop, create a new file, 72 dpi, width would be 500, and the height you can set to 150. And what we're going to start by doing is unlocking the background layer. Want to fill it to black. Switch it back. Text. We'll find first. I think they all start with Z because that's just like their trademark, so it'll most likely be at the bottom. Going to start with the regular version. 90 pixels, well, 90 point. Let's say codefreaks.net. That seems like a good name. I don't think that's a real site either, so don't try going to it. Let's center it. Okay, now we need some color. So we're gonna double click it. Find us a nice gradient. Let's say 120 and 125. Let's make it nice blue. Somewhere up in there. Copy. Go back to the others. Stupid mouse. Other side. Paste in the hex value. And for this side, let's bring it over here bring it back up. This side, let's darken it some. About right there. Click OK. OK. Now what we want to do is duplicate this layer, bring the copied one underneath, unmark that one so it's not selected or not viewed. I'm going to select all, change this to the bold, click OK, select view back on, and now we're going to go back and change this gradient. Let's start with the black and white gradient. We're going to switch it around some to a nice dark gray. Something like about around there. And do the same thing, copy and paste. But now we're going to go back to this side. We're going to darken it some more. It's about there. Okay, now we have the basic layout for the logo. Now what we're going to do is go back up to the first one, select effects. I'm going to select drop shadow. And it's not really going to be a drop shadow, but more like a lighting effect. So what you're going to do is change multiply to normal. If the gray was a different color, sometimes overlay would look nice, but in this case, since it's dark, it won't work. Change black to white. Change distance to 1, size to 0, and opacity to about, let's try 40. And 50, 60. Yeah, let's try 60 for now. So after we have that, what we're going to do is take this bottom layer, we're going to duplicate it. And once we duplicate it, we're going to turn the gradient off, keep effects on. Double click effects, turn the fill opacity to 0, stroke it, stroke it, size, let's say size, well, let's try 2 first. Change this color to a brighter gray than it is. It's about there. That looks pretty nice so far. Now we need the backdrop shadow for the whole entire thing, and you can't see it on black. So what we're going to do, instead of changing the black to white, we're going to double click the background layer, and we're just going to make a color overlay so that way we can easily switch between them. Change it to white. Well, white may be a little too bright. Let's try the dark greenish or something, just to be creative. Double click effects, drop shadow. Let's say leave it at 5 and bring it to 3 and bring the opacity down some. Now with that done, some people may want a glow, and sometimes a glow might not look good, but for a glow we want to start back with the top layer, create a new layer, control and click the inside box so that way it selects the content, take the marquee tool, find out which one says subtract from selection, and matter of fact, change the marquee tool to ellipse, so that way we get a rounded effect. So let's start down here and drag across to about, and let's redo that. Start a little bit higher. Let's try about, bring it back so it dips over. About right there. And now with that done, make sure that new layer selected, gradient, fill or G on the keyboard for Windows, select it, Control D to deselect, and now what we're going to do is double click. It's a few different ways you can do from this point. I'll show you a couple different ways, but one, you can just change the opacity down. That gives it a nice effect. 2, you can do overlay, which gives it a nice glow. Or 3, you can change fill opacity to 0, gradient, transparent and white. And now you can either have it like that, change the opacity a little bit, or you can go ahead and do overlay too, and then change the opacity a little bit. And with this done, you can switch it up and start adding more stuff too. So let's say reselect what we did. Let's do matter of fact, deselect what we did. Let's select, no, not that way. Yes, I don't know, pixel are selected. Select it this way, right in the middle of the K, and we're going to do G, fill with white, deselect, and then we're going to hold Alt, and then we're going to click right between the layers. Oh, didn't work. That's because we have a gradient on it. So let's bring it down one. We're going to take this, convert to smart object, rasterize, and then alt and click right between the layers. So it puts it inside of the text. Now with that inside of the text, we can reselect it. We can change the fill opacity back down, go back to a gradient, back to the white and transparent, and then with that done, we can change the way it pushes it. So let's say about right there. You can scale it up or scale it down. Let's scale it down a little bit, 65, and then overlay it again. Put on the opacity. Just mix graphics around and such for. Just keep playing around with it till you get something, and you can do more stuff such as create another new layer, select more. Let's say we'll just fill it with a random color, it doesn't even matter. Deselect, go back to the effects, let's say fill opacity 0, pattern. Let's change the pattern to white, white stripes, and overlay. And then bring the opacity down some, about 45. And just keep playing with it till you find something that you really like, and something that fits the site that you're working for and such forth. That's about it for now. See you next tutorial.